the national economy, talking about the sovereign economics, everywhere I had a sense of feeling that you're talking about more on the advanced technology. But I was actually really looking forward to something to listen about basic manufacturing, how it's going to impact the country, how it's going to really impact the basic manufacturing setup, basic agricultural setup. It can really impact the ground level of the population.
Okay. So in this abstraction, in this complex system, the national economy is where basic manufacturing, something where there's not a whole lot of innovation, some design innovation is there, will fall, and it could also be here, right? Because that's where the national economy is.
What I have seen from my experience working on basic manufacturing setups, the whole reason why Indian manufacturing actually contributes to the tune of 14% to the Indian GDP, we have nowhere competitive. We don't have a competitive advantage when it comes to basic manufacturing.
Correct.
And this is where I feel when I see from the left of the screen, the R&D, the science and technology, they are not quite integrated along with that one. And that's
Correct.
one of the reasons why our agriculture, why our manufacturing do not contribute so largely to the Indian GDP. And that's primarily one of the reasons why I see our FDIs play a major role bringing in the technology to India. And then you go down, when you look at the foreign trade and the investment policy, we have a deficit there. And that weakens us. I mean, it's a vicious circle, and that weakens us.
Yeah, actually, here is something important. As we said, this is like a game, global game. And so because it is a global game, somebody who brings in FDI, their advantage stays as long as technology is not available within India.
Exactly.
So 99% of the time, FDI does not bring technology.
Yeah,
so what FDI does is, it actually does what a small manufacturing unit, which is importing goods and assembles, does. That's what FDI does. But they tend to say, we need 100 acres of land for our factory. Right? So it's actually much of the FDI. Yeah.
The point I was trying to drive in is the reason we get this kind of borrowed technology because we don't have those.
Correct.
Like when you tell like.
Sorry, I actually disagree there. See, the reason why FDI is high in India is because the monetary policies, in the India's monetary policies or the RBI's balance sheet policies, there is a high amount of importance given for creating forex reserves.
Can you go to that slide also? Gopi, you can go to that slide, that monetary policy slide.
I will just talk about it. Maybe if we change the slide now, it might be confusing.
Okay.
The point is, RBI has a very defensive policy because they have seen what happened to East Asian economies and ASEAN economies rather, and in the 1980s. So they say we don't want to run out of forex ever. We don't want to go to IMF again. That kind of thing. So what happens is, anytime money comes in, forex comes in, RBI just grabs it and allows the rupee exchange rate versus dollar or euro or whatever to be determined by the current account surplus or deficit. But inadvertently, if you actually look at it as a complex system science from a sovereign economics or innovation economics perspective, what that does is it reduces, RBI's policy reduces the growth of productivity for Indian firms. If you take a simple example in the micro, if there is a factory and they have a certain level of productivity and output, and they want to improve their productivity, they have to upgrade their factory. Now that factory, unless you have these advanced tech firms and capital equipment manufacturers in India, what happens is this factory has to import the factory itself, the capital equipment. And because the rupee is weak, because of what RBI does. Essentially, what happens is when an Indian company, manufacturing company, is upgrading to a smart factory, let's say Industry 4.0, that Industry 4.0 or whatever they're upgrading is something like 1980s. At the same time, competitive firms around the world will be upgrading to 2010 or 2015 technologies. So there is a lot of money taken from banks, invested in upgradation, but the competition is also upgrading at the same time. And they actually upgrade to a more recent technology because of their buying power of their currencies versus a weakened rupee. So it's a negative spiral that RBI's monetary policy has taken India into. Now, there may be an Indian company which has an advanced tech, which can actually even now provide competitive advantage for Indian firms. There may be several advanced tech firms. In fact, there are. But they are sitting somewhere here, and the requirement is somewhere here. So there is a chasm. So to bridge this chasm, normally when we talk about in advanced tech companies, or anytime there is innovation, there are always pioneer customers. There is somebody who is a pioneer. So let's say somebody, Bhubaneswar says, I have invented a technology where you can create, have a semiconductor fab for creating power transistors. Power transistors is something which is used in every, wherever there is power electronics. So who is going to buy their transistors? So if somebody is there in the scientific economy, who is looking for power transistors, and the moment they say, oh, there is this Indian firm that can create power transistors, we are going to buy it. So the pioneer customers are sitting here, not in the free market side. They are the science and the scientific organizations tend to be the pioneering customers for advanced technologies. But if they are importing these products, then what happens is these advanced technology firms will never actually survive long enough to take their products to the small manufacturers or manufacturing firms. So what happens in this system is
Gopi, just let me interrupt. Mr. R.N. Pallai, who is the Secretary Revenue Disaster Management from Odisha government, he is with us. Pallai sir, can you make your video on?
I'll just make me a few minutes to get the things right.
Because the talk was going on, so and in between you have come, so I could not introduce you. He is actually earlier he was Secretary IT. Now he is in charge of Secretary Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Odisha. You can just make your video on. Let others see you also.
Okay.
So I just make a few statements here. My video comes up. One of the interesting things.
So just so Pallai sir, can you tell something?
Hello.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
just that's my all best wishes I have been hearing just because I joined late, because I just missed the time, and suddenly I remember that there is a schedule, so I just opened the meeting. And I think I request that let the discussion continue. Then thereafter we'll have discussions.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now over to Mr. Gopi Bulusu. Thank you, Pallai sir. Now over to Gopi Bulusu.
Yeah. So this is a very abstract policy architecture, and you can see that it sounds very theoretical also, but